As an animation and, basically a comic covering channel, though normally thus far I've only stuck to manga, and I do plan on expanding out, I feel like it's a good time to bring up the fact, because so many people are talking about it, why are modern superhero films doing so poorly? I mean, they used to be everything that was hot, and now they just seem to be doing so poorly, and other people are wondering if they can be successful. Well, ironically, we've had a couple of good successful films this year, but there was one that was truly great, and weirdly, nobody's talking about it, so let's go ahead and do it. Superhero movies have been taking a battering as of late, but that doesn't mean that everything's necessarily in decline. I think it would be more accurate to say that the problems that were always there with superhero movies are now just being brought to the forefront because you don't have the cover that they used to. That doesn't mean that things are getting worse, it just means that we're really highlighting the factors that when you didn't have the flash in the pan effect, this is what we're left with. And what I mean by that is that DC can't make a good superhero film to save their life, and I doubt they will be able to for at least another 5 to 10 years. And then you're left with the factor of, well, Marvel. And Marvel has done quite successfully over the last, previous 12 years, but now they're struggling, and they're struggling so hard. And people are wondering, well, no Marvel film really did well this year. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy did, and then, last year we had Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But the really funny thing is that while people liked those films, I couldn't help but notice there was a significant audience split around a large variety of factors. And don't get me wrong, audiences are going to disagree. That's often part of a nature of an artistic exploration like a movie. But in context, I think it's really funny that if you want a superhero film that did very, very well at the box office, focused on an ensemble cast, as is now a nature of superhero films, and focused on, even the multiverse, which is something Marvel's been pushing so hard, there's one film that hit the entire jackpot on that. And Marvel didn't make it. Yeah, it was Across the Spider-Verse, because that was the best Marvel film released this year. Or really, if we're being honest, for the last 4 years. Now, I only watched Into the Spider-Verse recently, and I went into it with a fair bit of trepidation. I mean, I loved Into the Spider-Verse so much, and it was a big deal because it was an animated film, it was done gorgeously, it had great writing, great characters, great voice acting. I mean, you don't usually see that much care taken in American properties, because people often just look at American animation as a form of cartoons. Very few companies bother to take the time out. This film, the original, went hard, and I can be very happy to say that I think they took everything from the first one and carried it even harder into the second. This really won't be my review of this film, but I will highlight that it's probably the best example of everything that Marvel has been trying to push as of late. Everything that people complain about in most Marvel films is done perfectly in this. Let's see. We've got a teenage protagonist, something that Marvel was more commonly known for, but as of late they haven't really been able to pull off. Well, we have that in this, in spades. Let's see. Characters from different backgrounds and different styles, in spades, because every Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, and Spider-Person in general comes with a different story, and all are executed brilliantly. Multiverse, something else Marvel has been trying to push very, very hard. Done perfectly here. Perfect explanation, perfect fitting into the story, used as an actual story element for character expression and necessary plot driving. It's not just there as a lazy excuse to incorporate characters so they don't have to write them. Yes, that's going to get its own video, and I am furious about that. But in the end, it just shows that this film was made because they wanted to tell a story. And there are many aspects of this story that they wanted to tell, but it shows. And I think the problem is with most Marvel films they're not designed to tell a story. They're designed to contribute to the MCU to make money. That's not the way you should be telling the story. To be honest, this film was so good, and its predecessor was so good. It's the first film of any kind, really, I'm going to go ahead and say 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years that I've watched a film that had a cliffhanger ending that I have been excited to want to see the next installment, that I am waiting for the next installment. And I personally think when it comes out, that next installment might very well be the best film of that year. And unless Marvel does a, 180 spin around, suddenly starts caring about the artists that are making their films and puts significant investment in them, it's going to be the best Marvel film of that year, too. So all that contributed together. This film is definitely worth a watch. If you have not seen Across the Spider-Verse yet, you definitely should. It's worth all the praise that it gets, and I will probably explore more of the themes and elements within the story on this channel because I am going to start covering more comic book related things. Manga and comics are really the same thing, so I don't see why I shouldn't be able to branch into both. All right, talk to you later.